This is the video tutorial for the S60-105 rod end. Okay, this part is actually a little more complicated than you see at first glance. If you see this SR here, that's a spherical radius. So that is not just a straight radius cut. It's kind of hard to tell from this isometric, but it has a dome on it, and then this is curved more than it would be if it was just a straight radius cut. Because of that, we need to make our base feature as a result revolve. You could make it in another form, but then you're still going to have to do a revolve cut on the top to get the geometry correct. Okay, so let's start on this. We're going to make our revolved, and it's going to be just the profile of the part as if we were looking at it normal or 90 degrees to this flat face here. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, we're going to go to SolidWorks. We're going to create a new part file. Okay, we're going to sketch on our front plane. I'm going to do in the same orientation as what we saw in the ISO. So I'm going to create my center line first. Go left to right. Hit escape. Click on your center line. Let's make it infinitely long. And then we're going to draw a line. So we have a line. We're going to go up to the left. We're going to go left. Then we're going to go back. We're going to create an arc. And then we're going to click to where it's a half arc. Let's stop there. For this particular shape, if we look at our drawing, the arc is not tangent to this horizontal line. So we want to highlight the tangency if you automatically got one and delete it, that relationship. This will allow us to move this arc out of tangency, which is the way it really is. Okay, now we're going to set up a relationship between the center of the arc and hold the shift key down, hold your center line, and we're going to make those coincident. Now it looks like my center line didn't end up being aligned with origin like I had thought. I must have selected just a little bit off, but we're going to fix that right now. So I'm going to highlight the center line, highlight origin, and we're going to make those coincident. Okay, so if you did it right, you shouldn't have to do that step. Okay, now we're going to drag this arc back to the center line until it connects with it. So now we have a resultant that's similar to the profile of our part. Okay, it's got this large arc that is non-tangent, but it terminates on center line. Now we just need to throw dimensions on this. So our diameter is, for this shape, is 197 thousandths. So we're going to pick our dimension tool. And once I drag, so I got a radius, now I drag it down for a diameter, 0.179. So that 0.197, I transversed the number there. Okay, so then we've got our height. It's saying 2, but we need to move the tolerance to 3, so we see 197. Okay, we're going to accept that. Now we need to put our radius on this. So if we look at our drawing, it's a 189 spherical radius. It'll become spherical when we revolve it. .189. We're going to go to 3 decimal points. And we can drag this over so it's actually pointing at the arc. Okay. And our last dimension is the overall height. We're going to go from vertical line to endpoint, drag back, and our drawing says 310 thousandths to 2 decimal points. Okay, so then we've got our basic shape. We just need to do one last thing. we're going to go back and close our shape with one more line. And that should be fully constrained because we have all the dimensions we need. Just make sure it doesn't have a negative symbol over here. Now we're going to go to features and we're going to go to a revolve base. We go to a 3D view and here's our shape. You notice how this has a dome to it in the preview. That's what we want. We're going to hit accept and we have our shape. Okay, next. We have two flats on here we want to make. Now there's a bunch of ways you can do this. You could sketch on a plane on the end and cut down. You could come in from a couple different angles. I'm going to show you a technique using the cut feature with an offset from the plane you're sketching on. That way we don't have to generate more planes. So what we're going to do is we're going to sketch and we're going to pull down on the feature tree over here and we're going to sketch on the front plane on the middle of our part. We're going to select the silhouette, hold the shift key down, make sure it's just highlighting the lines, and we're going to highlight the silhouette all the way around. I'm not sure I got that one. Okay, so it should be really light blue. I don't know if you can see it in the rendering, but I've got the silhouette of three of the edges. Okay, don't worry about the one on the right. We're going to need to change that. We're going to go to Convert Entities, and it turns that into geometry. We now need a vertical line running like so. And then we're going to use our power trim. We want to keep the part on the left because that's going to be where we're removing the material. So I'm going to drag across the tail here, down across that tail, down across that tail, and then that one. So these edges that I'm highlighting are already constrained to the model because they're model edges. And then this one isn't defined because right now I don't have a dimension defining how long this is. Okay, so let's look at our drawing, and it is 79 thousandths from the bottom of the part. So if I put a dimension in from the bottom of the part, or right side of the part, to the vertical line, 0.079. And then I'm going to switch this to 3 place decimals. I now have it displayed like it is on the isometric drawing. We're going to hit close that detail. So now our sketch is fully constrained. Now if I look at this, I've drawn this right on center line. I don't want to cut all the way from the center line. I want to be able to cut offset from that. Okay, we're going to go to features. We're going to do an extruded cut. Okay, it defaults to through all in both directions. We're going to go through all just in one direction. Wipe out all the material. We're going to go from an offset plane. And that offset plane is going to be half the distance of the width of the rib that's going to be left behind. So if we go back to our drawing, the width of that is 63 thousandths, which is a 16th rounded up. So we're going to take half of that. So half of a 16th is a 32nd. 1 divided by 32. And right now it's offsetting so that my cut is actually deeper. I don't want that. I want to go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to flip the direction of the offset to the opposite side of the plane. So the blue line represents center. The right line shows where our cut's going to start. And then it's going to cut out to infinity. So if I change the diameter of this, that cut will always leave the rib the same size. We're going to hit accept. Okay, so I have half of my feature. I've got a rough feature. So I need to have this on the opposite side of the part. Well, the beauty of doing this off center line is my original reference, is we can now use what's called a pattern. So we're going to go to the pattern tools and we're going to use mirror. And we're mirroring the actual feature that we just made. Our mirror plane should be the same plane we drew our sketch on. With the front plane we are mirroring about, okay, so that should be on center line of the part. And we don't need any secondary, and we want to mirror a feature. So you're going to pick this box that says features to mirror, and then we're going to select the cut that we made, and it's going to mirror it on the other side of the part. We're going to hit accept, and now we have a tang that should be the right size. And it's parametric, and if you change it, and if you look at this spherical dome on here is what we're looking for. All right, next step, we got a hole to put in here and a hole to put in the end. Let's put the hole in the end. We're going to go to Hole Wizard. I'm going to use the simplified tool, simple. We're going to do a simple drilled. So it puts the drill point in, leave it at 118 degrees, that's good. Our tolerance, we want to set that at 3 place decimal. And then I'm doing the one on the end, so let's look at what our dimensions are. Okay, we got a 190 or a 94 to 99, so halfway between that. We get our handy calculator out again. 0.099 minus 0.094, which gives us a 5/1000ths difference, divided by 2 is 2.5 thousandths. We're going to add that to our low of the tolerance, and that gives us this number, 96 thousandths 5/10. Right click on your calculator to copy. Go back to our drawing, and we're going to double click on the value we have and paste our diameter in. Okay, our end condition is not through all. It's going to be blind. And then our depth, according to our drawing, is 40 thousandths max. And our tolerance is going to be a limit. And we're going to put in 0.025. Sorry, 0.0025 in both. So we have 2.5 thousandths plus or minus. Then we're going to go to positions. We're going to pick on the surface we want our hole in. We're going to pick on where our location is. And we're going to hit accept. And we should have a hole with a drill point on it. Now we have questions about what is the depth? Is the depth to shoulder here, or is the depth that you put in to point, the end point of the drill? It is always to shoulder unless otherwise specified. I've seen it specified when they don't want a drill point to break through something. But yes, you're not going to go any deeper than 40 thousandths maximum to that shoulder. Okay. So before we put this hole in, we need to make a sketch, preparatory sketch. So I'm going to do a sketch on the face we want to put our hole in. And then we're going to do a line, center line. And according to our drawing, it is 232 thousandths from the base of the part. So we're going to go from the base of the part, draw our line up, click, make sure it's horizontal. That'll put it on center line. And then we can just dimension this at 0.232. And this end point is in the correct place. We can then exit this sketch. And then we're going to go to Features, and we're going to go to the Hole Wizard. We're going to double click. Let's set our tolerance first. We're going to go to 3 place decimals. And our tolerance is, it's a 063 to 065, which halfway between those two numbers is 064 plus or minus 1. So we're going to put in 0.064. Okay, and we're going to go through all this time. And then our tolerance is going to be a limit. And our tolerance should be 0.01 in both, plus or minus 1,000. And then our dimension should be 3 place decimals as well. Okay, we go to positions. Go to positions. Okay, we're gonna go to positions, and then we're gonna pick on the end of our center line, and then we're gonna hit accept. And we should get our hole going through. Okay, if this sketch bothers you, you can always hide it. There we go. All right, so we've now modeled the this part, and that concludes the tutorial for this. Of course, you're going to go and set your properties, set your material, make sure that all your sketches are fully constrained before you upload your file. Hope this is helpful, and I'll catch you on the next one.